In a remote valley village where electricity rarely reached the dusty streets and nightfall arrived like a heavy curtain, lived a man named Asim, a quiet bachelor known for his calm nature and tired, lonely eyes. For years he lived in an old stone house inherited from his grandfather, until one morning he confessed to himself, "I'm done living alone. My silence has become too loud." Not long after, fate brought him a woman named Lena, gentle, cheerful, admired by everyone in the village. Within weeks, the two married in a modest ceremony lit by oil lamps. Their life together began as many love stories do, quietly, simply, and beautifully. Comma, but the peace didn't last. One evening, as the couple sat by their clay stove, Lena froze. A black cat, darker than the village nights, sat silently at the doorway. Its eyes, two bright, yellow flames, were fixed entirely on her. Asim laughed it off, tossed a pebble toward it, and shooed it away. But the cat returned the next evening, and the next, and the next, always at the same hour, always staring at Lena, and always leaving the moment Asim stepped closer to her. Lena admitted one night, her hands trembling slightly, "Asim, I don't like that thing. It watches me as if it's waiting for something." He waved her concerns away with a smile. "It's just an animal. You're scaring yourself for nothing." But deep inside, he wasn't so certain. Something about the way the cat behaved felt too deliberate, too intelligent. Nearly 2 months into their marriage, the cat broke its routine. Instead of appearing at dusk, it crept into the house much later, at a time when no animal should be wandering the village paths. Comma. The only light in the room came from a weak lantern whose flame shivered at the slightest breeze. Lena stiffened immediately. The cat was sitting much closer than usual, staring at her, unblinking, comma, almost expectant, trying to lighten the mood. Asim chuckled, nudged his wife gently, and turned to the cat. Comma, and in the worst joke he would ever make, he said, "If you like my wife that much, you can take her." Lena elbowed him with irritation, but before either of them could laugh, something strange happened. The cat stood up, slowly, deliberately, comma, as if those words were what it had been waiting for all along. Comma. Asim felt a shiver crawl up his spine, though he forced out a smile and tried to continue his joke. After dinner, he stepped outside to wash his hands at the well. He was gone less than a minute. When he came back, Lena was gone. Comma. Not a sound, not a trace, not even a shifted chair or overturned cup, just gone. As if the world had swallowed her. Asim tore through the house, kitchen, bedroom, storage room, calling her name. Comma. When he didn't find her, he ran barefoot through the dark to her parents' home, believing she had walked there upset, but they hadn't seen her. Suspicion rose instantly. Her father and brothers accused Asim of harming her, of hiding her body, of lying about everything. They dragged him to the tribe's chief, demanding justice. The chief ordered the villagers to search the valley. For 5 days they combed wells, fields, caves, and every room in Asim's house. They found nothing. On the 6th day, the chief called Asim back and asked him, calmly, firmly, to retell every detail of the night. When Asim reached the part about joking with the cat, the chief's expression shifted. He leaned back, studying him carefully. Then he said words Asim would never forget. "You may have given permission to something not human." Asim felt the world tilt under his feet. The chief explained that in forgotten tales of the valley, some jinn, creatures of another realm, took the form of animals, especially black cats. They avoided humans unless invited or provoked. "And you," the chief added quietly, "may have invited one." Asim broke down. He begged for guidance, for a solution, for anything that would bring Lena back. But the chief admitted he knew no way to reverse what had happened. The villagers, frightened and angered, began to believe Lena had been taken by supernatural forces rather than her husband. Rumors spread. Fear grew. And then, the crying started. Every night after midnight, from inside Asim's empty house, a woman's voice echoed through the walls. Lena's voice, crying, calling his name. Neighbors heard it. Passers-by heard it. Even men who mocked Asim earlier grew pale when the wailing filled the silent village. Asim, half mad with grief, ran inside each night trying to find her. He never did. Weeks later, a traveling scholar, an elderly man with a reputation for knowledge of the unseen, arrived after hearing the story. He met Asim privately and asked only one question. Your wife's name is Lena, correct? When Asim nodded, the scholar said, She is in your house, but not in your world. Asim felt his knees weaken. The scholar explained that she had been taken by a jinn from a tribe that lived beneath the valley. If Asim wished to retrieve her, he would have one chance. Dangerous, nearly impossible, but a chance nonetheless. He handed Asim a folded paper with 3 strange words and gave him strict instructions. Go to the mountain known as Jahim Peak. Arrive just before sunset on a Monday. Recite the words 3 times. Once loudly, once softly, once silently. No matter what horrors appear, do not turn around. Do not speak unless spoken to by the ruler of the jinn. And above all, keep your gaze straight forward. If he disobeyed, even for a heartbeat, he would die. Asim didn't hesitate. He accepted. When the appointed day came, Asim climbed the mountain alone. As the final notes of the sunset call to prayer faded, he planted his feet firmly and unfolded the paper. The moment he spoke the first word aloud, a gust of icy wind swept around him. Before he could whisper the second, he heard pounding hooves racing toward him from behind, an entire herd charging straight at him. Instinct begged him to run, but he didn't turn. He spoke the second word. The thundering hooves vanished. Instead, a grotesque figure materialized in front of him, towering, twisted, its eyes burning with rage. Its shadow swallowed the ground around him. Asim forced himself not to flinch. He closed his eyes, spoke the third word silently, and when he opened them, the mountain was gone. He stood inside an enormous underground city illuminated by bluish flames floating in the air. A voice commanded, "The king is waiting." The king of that realm appeared in the form of an unnaturally tall man with impossibly long arms and hair as white as winter frost. Creatures whispered in the shadows around him, their eyes glowing like embers. Asim kept his gaze fixed, just as instructed. "Why have you come here, human?" the king asked. Asim answered with steady courage he didn't know he had. "To reclaim my wife, taken by one of your kin." A distant voice echoed. "He gave her to me. He can't deny it." The jinn who spoke remained unseen. Asim countered. "You entered my home without permission. You deceived us in the form of a cat. No human gives something to a creature he does not know exists." A long silence followed. Then the king thundered, "Bring the woman." Lena's sobs filled the chamber. Asim nearly turned, nearly broke the rules, but he kept his head locked straight, his fists trembling. The hidden jinn protested, claiming he had loved Lena long before she married Asim. But the king silenced him. "You trespassed. You manipulated. Return her immediately." And then, to Asim, "Go home. She will be there, but hear my warning. If you ever remain in that house, any child born to you will enter the world lifeless. Leave the house forever." Darkness swallowed everything. Asim found himself at the foot of the mountain, gasping for breath. He ran home. Lena stood in the center of the room as though nothing had happened. When he embraced her, she asked innocently, "Where were you?" "You left before sunset." She remembered nothing. That same night, without waiting for dawn, Asim packed their belongings and led her away from the house. They moved into a small home near her parents, starting anew. The old house remained abandoned. Villagers swore they saw lights flickering inside at night, heard the faint sobbing of something trapped between worlds, and sometimes spotted a black cat sitting silently in the shattered window frame. But no one ever entered. And Asim? He never joked about the unseen again. He and Lena went on to have children, healthy ones, full of life, just as the king had promised. And the old house, it still stands, quiet, dark, and avoided by every living soul of the valley. Finally, tell us which country you are watching from and subscribe to our channel. There are more stories.